Alright, I had to pull off the old Shopsmith here. I was trying different ways to figure out how to do this, but this is the easiest way. This could be a drum sander, or you could do it on your drill press, but you have to get your workpiece tilted to somewhere between 9 and 10 degrees. That's, if I could describe it this way, if this piece is 3/4 of an inch thick and you want to remove 1/8 of an inch at a taper, then measuring that angle is, I guess I got to do it this way. Measuring this angle is 9.5 degrees. I'm going to start with 9. See how that works out. I can always come back and touch it up a little bit, but I think this will do it. This is a kind of a rasp, and I should probably try a little test piece first before I get going on this one. Let me find a piece of scrap here. This will work. And then, you know, I eyeballed it, looking at the distance between the drum here and the top corner, and that looks to be about 1/8 of an inch. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, that's about right. And, you know, just remembering what I had last night on my my actual piece, just looking at it. So let me just see what happens here. Well, you got to plug it in though. But it is working. I am getting a nice little angle there. I think the key thing will be to keep an eye on this top edge. You don't want to get into that. So I think what I'll do is, before I start grinding, I'll put a mark up on this edge. So when I see that start to disappear, I know that I've gotten as far as I need to get. So here's my mark. Yeah, I've got the bottom mark. That's the part I have to remove. So if I keep this constant, I should be okay. And I'm going to take my pencil though and mark this top edge just lightly. And when I see that start to disappear, I'll be ready to back off. Alright, so now you can see that edge I've got marked. So when I get to that pencil line, that's when I want to stop. Alright, here it goes. Alright, I figured out what's going on here. This thing, when I'm doing it in this direction, I'm basically grinding downhill. And when I get to this point here, now I'm starting to go against the grain, and it's much more efficient because it's really grabbing. That's why I went up on top here. I figured out I can get this done a little quicker by pulling it instead of pushing it right here. So I've got a pretty clean angle. A couple of spots maybe to clean up right here. Got a little, not so bad. I think I could live with this. What I might do now that I've got a straight edge here, or an angled edge, maybe just kind of go over this quick with a spoke shave and take out some of these high spots. But that looks good. I'm happy with that. Alright, I've got these paired up, and I've got a nice uniform gap here. I'm kind of pressing on that a little bit, but pretty uniform gap on both sides. So that tells me that this cut is, the angle is matched. I guess it's kind of a no-brainer. It better be. But that looks good to me. So this is the piece that goes up on the back of the chair that's on my bench, and this is the first slat of the seat toward the back. So I want to get those positioned and kind of figure out what I need to do for slats, back slats. Alright, that piece is just sitting in there wedged, but I like it. This is a reasonable angle, I think, to sit back. So I'm going to go with it. I really have no choice, I guess. But the next thing that I see, though, and it's hard to pick it up, but because this is rounded, you've got a gap here and a gap on the outside. So basically it's touching in 3 points. These two and the center. So I think I'll try and remedy that a little bit by shaping those. Once I get established what I want to do here, it's got to be a little bit longer. Okay, I planned on 10 slats from the bottom to this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see the gap I have here. I've almost got room for one more, but if I put one in there, it's too tight if I were to put this in here. So I'm going to just increase my spacing. I'm going to get this flat spot. I'm going to get this flat spot first established, and then the next flat spot, and then these will have to get a little bit wider. I think I've got them, some are about a quarter, some are just maybe a bit less than 3/8. They're not uniform, but it looks pretty good. But I got to get these flattened in here, and that pushes them back toward this part here. You're not really going to be you don't sit out here. This is the part that's critical. This is where your butt's going to be. This is just your legs, hanging over. So I'm not real concerned about this, but I want the gaps to be the same. All right, here goes nothing. I've got a fence set up here. I'll put my workpiece in. This is the angle that I used to approximate where I want that flat spot. So I'm going to take this one, run it into my belt to the line, make a mark here. When I get stopped, I wish I could have a positive stop, but there's not enough room. And then do all four, because some of them the line is going to be away from you, but I hope this will work. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, that line's got to be up here. Alright, try it again. Boy, I sure hope this works out. This went on nice. I used 3/8 inch spacing. So I put my 3/8 spacer here again. And made a mark, center mark. I'm not sure how I'm going to get this angle translated to the sander, but this angle is, I got this part of it measured this way, I guess. That's this edge. So I've got to be 90 degrees to this measurement. I hope I can figure that out. I guess I can do it this way. Taking off the front here, parallel here. Put this in. Oh, I gotta leave that in there. Just snug this up. That is parallel. Yeah, it works. Okay. So here's my center line. I made dimples for the screw holes, so I know where that center line should run through. Right there. It's not going to take much. So here's the line I got drawn. You can see it's just basically just have to touch it to get a flat on that. Make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah. So just a fraction of a touch right there, and then the rest of them I'm just going to let it go. But these first two, I want to make sure that they're flat. So I'll take this apart, get it set up, and run it one more time. All right, in this case, I marked the wrong side, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I had to readjust my tri-square to get this angle, and then this is 90 degrees. It's a complementary angle. 90 degrees to this edge right here. So I'm going to push this in and just touch it a little bit. Make note of where I am on my scale here. This is just a little Stanley number 68, 6-inch square, 6 by 8. I'm just going to touch a couple of times, turn over and take a look at my line, and see where I'm at. Alright, my line has disappeared, but I'm happy with that. I still have my dimples, so I'll put this one together and see how it looks. And then I think we can just space the rest out on down the line. Alright, I put my spacers back in here, and I've got a center punch that I punched those dimples the first time I put it back in just to make sure I was still mating up, and that looks good. So I'm going to pre-drill these holes. I've been doing that with all these, drilling pilot holes. Just 90 degrees to this flat spot. Make sure this one starts. Yeah, that should be it. I got a center mark there. I think I've got this flipped around because they're not matching up. And when I say that, I mean it's not flush on the outside. Let's see how this one works. Yeah, that's better. There. Right there. Piece. About 3/4 of an inch apart, but I can't really anchor this one because I've got to do a little procedure on these, but I'm going to get this close. is I'm going to knock these corners off and take a little bit out of the center of the first slat. All of the slats, actually, they have to be the same. So I'm going to guess that this is going to be about here, if not back a little. Let's say right about there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 6 more. And lay them out and see how they lay out here. 6. I can tighten them up a little bit. I think these might just have to get eyeballed in. This one's tight. Let's go 3/8 to this one. Yeah, that's going to work out pretty good, I think.